Greetings and welcome to letter S in the A to Z of records in my collection. Going to dedicate all 5 records today to Studio One, and then I'll go and have a look at S again tomorrow. Looks like we're down for a few, at least another 3 weeks of staying indoors, so I just hope that these few little posts that I put on help you get through this time. I always find reggae music as very, very uplifting. So let's go right back to the beginning. One of the earliest recordings from Studio One. This is pre-ska. So, the importance of Coxone Dodd to reggae music cannot be underestimated. Probably the most important person in reggae history. Yes, you could say that Bob Marley was more important to spread the word, but without Coxone Dodd, Studio One, Bob Marley may well not have been the star that he is today. He was like Barry Gordy at Treasure Isle. He produced around 6,000 rhythms, it's estimated, over the years, and I was lucky enough to meet him back in 1981, although only briefly in Jamaica. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning, one of his early recordings. So when, anyway, let's just play this and have a chat after. Way back in time, Theodophilus Beckford, Easy Snapping. There you go, Easy Snapping, one of Coxone Dodd's earliest recordings. That's a repressing on the Studio One. Well, no, tell you, got the shirt on. So I was lucky enough to go there in 1981, and here's one of my most treasured possessions. That's me with the man himself. I was stood outside, I was taking a couple of pictures, and the man on the gate said, "Would you like to come?" I think I went and said, "Is he in?" He said, "Yes." He opened the gate. In I went, he showed me around. And fortunately, I had already bought one of his records. And that's what I'm going to play next, because this is the beginnings of ska from Higgs and Wilson. I don't know if you can... Oh, let's have a look. Let's see. Oof, gosh. Where's the bloody camera? Oh, come on. There, you can just about... Oh, can you? Anyway, he signed the record for me. And he signed 2 records for me, actually. I gave one to Barry Quinnell, and then he sold it. He probably wasn't even aware that I got him signed. But what's interesting is I've seen other people on the internet claim to have records signed by Coxone Dodd, and either he changed his writing a lot in the last 20 years before he died, or they're fakes, because they don't look anything like mine, and I watched him do that, although you could argue, well, maybe he didn't. But I remember the pen wouldn't write properly, and that's why there's 2 C's on it, but he seemed to not struggle to write his name, but, you know, anyway. That's one of my, probably the most prized possession I've got. Let's go, let's play it. Higgs and Wilson, early days of ska now.
The mighty man, I want you to see. You don't know what you're doing to me. I look for a fly. think what's gonna happen to you. Do up, chew up, or you drop like a we know that you don't want to give, hoping that you may live. But let us make you understand. I'm walking every day. Before we go, we have this to say. Prepare to meet the person all day. Oh, what we do up, to up, you watch up.
Wow, Higgs and Wilson, mighty man. And I still remember he looked at it and said, Higgs and Wilson, mighty man. And had a little chuckle as if he remembered the recording, maybe, I don't know. Right, so, going to go back a few years to when I purchased these, and a shop in London when I went down to see Ken in the late 70s called Pecking's Studio One shop, still going I believe, and I think singles then were £2.50 each for imports, and it was quite expensive in them days because singles I think were about less than a normal UK pressings were less than £1. And I remember standing there with Ken Lithgow at the counter, and obviously these records just keep coming. They have a fantastic sound system, and everything sounds fantastic when they play it. Got to stop using the word fantastic, I know. But I bought a few records, but these are the two I definitely remember buying there. And I'm just going to play them back to back, and then I will tell you what they are afterwards for all you Studio One fans. Let's see if you know what these two are. Right. Pick Them Up, Ernest Saul Wilson, John Holt and the Paragons, My Satisfaction. So, I went back in 1983 to Jamaica. Obviously didn't have my child then. And here's a couple of snaps I took. So the first one, that is a couple who came with us to Jamaica on the day, Kim and Michael, and they were from Swansea. And they were into their reggae music. And Aswad was on the plane with them when they came over. So that's my missus, Mike, and Kim on the end. Kim, I remember, was very well endowed. And here's a picture of me with Kim on the same day. There we go, outside Studio One. There's a big wall in front of it now, a big block wall, unfortunately. And the place was shut, so I'm assuming in 1983 Coxone Dodd had moved his operation, I'm guessing, over to the USA in Brooklyn. So, right, My Satisfaction. Let's go back for the last one. Nice orange Studio One label here, and I remember picking this one up in Montego Bay in 1981. There was a little shop in the touristy area. How they had this, I don't know. There's a big pile of records. I couldn't bring everything back, but I didn't know this one when I bought it. And I seem to remember thinking, oh, I've never seen an orange Studio One, bearing in mind, you know, I'm from Wales, didn't get the chance to see many Studio One records, end of. This is a great song though. It's Hold Me Baby Part 1, and it's by Basil Daly. So I've got a few photos in the box here, and I just dug this one out, which would be of interest to some people maybe, because that was 1983 again, and that is Prince Buster's record shop on 127 Orange Street. Alas, that was shut in 1983 again, but it was open in 1981 when I went, although Prince Buster wasn't around on the time. And I remember lots of 45s hanging from the ceiling on bits of gut, and they looked like they were floating there, all these old records. That's it from me for today. That was Studio One, 5 selections with a few stories, which I hope you enjoyed. Back tomorrow, going to stay on S, have a look what's there. Still a few goodies there, I'm sure. There might even be a few more Studio Ones. All I would ask you to say, stay safe, stay well, stay home.